Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So yesterday we discussed these points, right? Like, if you want to develop any uh, a web application, mainly we should be ready with these two things as part of development. Okay. So we know how to install all these things, any one of these, because we are already familiar with these browsers. Like mostly we use the Google Chrome and Internet Explorer, Firefox. So these are the browsers. So we can say it is a client software and the servers. So the Tomcat server, Logic server, Java server, something like that. Yesterday we understood how to download this Tomcat and how to start the server as well. And to develop a web application, we have to the after ready with these things, we then the third step is we need to develop the application. So as part of development application, first we need to understand what the structure of the web application, and in that structure, what kind of resources we can keep there. I mean, HTML files, JavaScript files, CSS files, and Servlet program files, Java. So these are the files we are going to place in that project. So and then we will compile. I mean, we will ready with the code and then compile and deploy that. Deploy is nothing but placing all the required all the resources which we prepared for the project, keeping in the web application, the folder structure is nothing but a uh, uh, so deploying that, okay, application in the server and start the server and use that application from the browser. Let's start. Let's try to discuss. You are good with these 2 points, right? We are we what is this and how to download and all installation and start. Yesterday we seen that. I've seen that. Okay, let's discuss about this part today. So, developing a web application. So, first of all, what is the structure of web application, Java application, when we are going to develop that? Okay, so if you see that yesterday we downloaded one Tomcat server. So this is the Tomcat server we downloaded, and we can see the bin folder, config folder, lib folder, log folder, temporary folder, web app folder, work folder, something like that. Okay, so we have seen that. So let's say bin folder, and I'm just starting that, starting the server. So look at this. So the the server started. So this is the server starting. This is how we will start the server. And before that, we should be ready with the project, right? We should be ready with the project. Let's go and just create that project. Okay, let's say let me create one folder, the C drive. Under C drive, I'm just creating. My project is. Mm, I just want to create my project is CSTPL, guys. This is my project name is CSTPL. So you can use capital letter or small letter. That's whatever of you. CSTPL. This is the project name. So this is the project folder. This is the project folder. Under the project folder, the main thing is you should ready with web inf folder. So which will be all or capital. Okay, we should prepare with this name. All should be capital. All should be capital. Web inf web inf folder as part of the project folder. So we should ready with the WebINF folder. Under WebINF, you can have the file folder called classes, classes, classes folder. So under the same WebINF, we can have there is a file called web.xml. What is that? Web.xml. So first of all, you have seen that till now you know that txt file, ppt file, doc file, doc file, xls file. These are all the different kind of files. You know that in the same way. So that XML is one kind of file. Do you guys know anything about XML?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So so you don't know anything about what is XML and all. Okay. Okay. See, the XML files. We will we will place this information in the form of tags, guys. So okay. So we will see that later. So we should have let's try to understand the structure of the web application. Project folder. Under the project folder, webinf should be the web-inf. All should be capital. Class under that webinf folder, classes web.xml. So outside of this webinf, that means under the project folder, you can keep all any resources. And under this classes folder, we will keep dot class files. What is meaning of dot class files, guys? So all Java files, whatever the source code files we will write. So once we compile those .java files, once we compile those .java files, we will get the dot class files, right? We will get dot class files. All the dot class files we will place into the classes folder. We will place in classes folder. Okay, classes folder and lib folder, web.xml file. So under lib folder, we will keep all dependent. Say maybe we will develop many programs. That programs might be using different third-party libraries, different libraries. Library is nothing but you know that we will keep a list of classes and make it in the jar file, right? Keep it in the jar file. So those jar files you can keep in this lib folder. So overall, if you look at that project under that webinf folder, under web classes folder, lib folder, web.xml. Okay, what is the purpose of classes folder? To keep all dot class files, whatever you prepared for your project. Might be you prepare 100 classes, 100 classes, 200. It depends on your project. You will prepare the classes, right? So all the classes you can keep in the under the classes folder. All the libraries you can keep under the lib folder. So the web.xml will have all the configuration about the project. What are the resources? Like all the servlet programming. I already told that, right? As part of the web application, we will we will create the servlet programs. All servlet program related configuration we will do here. Okay, project name and many configuration related stuff we will configure here. So we will come to this point, but just try to understand the what is the purpose of this each and every element in this structure. So what is this, guys? This is the project name. That you can give anything. And what is this? WebNF. You have to give the same way. You should not give in your own way. So all should be capital, and you have to give WebNF, INF. Okay. So under that WebNF, classes folder, lib folder, web.xml. There is no, I think everything should be the same. Like whatever I gave the right same way. So you should not give your own names. You have to give the same names. Classes folder, lib folder, web.xml file. So what is the purpose of classes folder, guys?
Dart class files, sir.
Dot class
Yeah,
file.
to place all dot class files about related to the project. What is the purpose of lib folder? To place all the jar files,
Library.
dependent jar files, whatever the. And what is the purpose of web.xml? We will configure
Configuration.
all project related things. Okay, so these are the main thing you should remember. So purpose of these three things. Okay, and which are under the WebNF. Okay, this is the basic structure, guys. This is the basic structure. Okay, so I'm just ready with the basic structure. And now what we will do is, and do you guys know anything about HTML? What is HTML and all? You don't know?
Yes, sir.
Markup language.
Yeah, HTML stands for hypertext.
Markup.
Let's try to understand something in the what is about hypertext markup language. Okay, hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. So here this is the language which will make the data in a beautiful manner, in a representation is in the good. So let's say uh, here, let's try to understand this one. So what this language will do is it will convert the text into a representation wise good manner. Okay. So for example, I want to represent the uh, you know the name in a bold. I want to represent the name in italic. I want to represent the rows and columns. I want like it's like no, instead of displaying the normal way. So let's say uh, how to before trying to understand that, what is meaning of hypertext, guys? First of all, tell me. Do you know anything about the meaning of that hypertext? Hyper means, what is meaning of hyper? So the meaning of hyper is huge, huge text. Okay. So what is meaning of that? So if you go and access any website, guys, if you go, 1 second. Okay. So if you go and look at any website, let's say, let's go here. Uh, let's see that codesteam.in. Okay. So you can see the information is represented in this website. Not only this website, anywhere you can see the information will be represented. So look at that, the way the representation in some kind of makeup, like they did some makeup on for the data and they represented it, right? So look at that. Looking wise, it looks good. It looks good for your information, like So if you want to see that information, home button like this, okay. So the all the information to these are all the information only, right? So how we are displaying this data with the help of HTML programming, okay. So what that HTML program is doing is so that program is markupping. Markup is nothing but a makeup. So doing a makeup for someone. So before makeup, after makeup. If you see that the before makeup, so might be that looks not good. After makeup, the looking will good. So what is the meaning of that? The same information, same thing we are representing after makeup. So in the same way, let's say, look at this. So this is the source code of this project, guys. This is the source code of that. Whatever you see here, this is the source code of that project. Might be you see that many code, many tags, many things are there. We'll go and look at that. Mainly look at the information wise. For example, header and main, view, container. So don't think about too much about these tags. We'll go on there. So actual information where it is and how the representation is happening. Look at this. Home. Home we want to represent, right? So but we represented like this, but looking wise, when you put the cursor, automatically it is highlighting, it is underlining. And if you put the like this, that means some kind of makeup is already done for this. Okay. So how it possible is, so all this information we kept uh, within the within the tags. You look at that a tag or something. What is the information kept in a some tags? So the tags are going to represent this information in a specific manner. Okay. So what we will do is we will try to create our own html file our own html file. So how to create HTML file? Let's go here. I'm going to create here only under CSTPL project. So I'm going to create here home dot. So I will give my own name, home dot HTML. Home dot HTML. Okay. So this file dot HTML file, you can write your own tag. The HTML code stands with start with the dot h. Sorry, this is the tag, guys. Tag is nothing but a which gives about the information, and which gives about the, there are two terminologies you have to understand in the HTML language. We are trying to learn the new language, HTML language. So the purpose of the language we already understood, and how to write that and how to display, we are going to understand it. So here, as part of HTML, we have to understand two terminologies: tag and attribute. Tag and attribute. What are the things? Two things you have to understand: tag and attribute. So right now, so HTML, I can call it as a tag. So tags will represent within the Angular bracket. Angular bracket start, Angular bracket end. And if you want to close that HTML tag, you can close like this. So I think you guys know that at least the basic thing about HTML, because everybody came from MCA, right? You guys know that, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the simple tag, which this is the starting tag and ending tag. Okay. And ending tag with the slash that name. So let's say if the there is a tag called CSTPL. Okay. So starting tag is that, and ending tag is like this. This is the ending tag. This is the ending tag. So this HTML tag and this CSTPL tag, what this HTML will do, what this CSTPL will do. So because all the tags will known by the browser, all the tags will known by the browser. So the browser can do that, the respective thing, because HTML will be rendered by the HTML tags will be rendered by the any browser. Okay. So I'm just doing that head tag. So under HTML head tag, I'm creating head tag. Okay. Under HTML only, I'm going to create body tag. Body tag. Okay. Look at this, guys. HTML, under that head tag and body tag. Okay. So this is what I created. It's under body tag. Under body tag, I will put welcome to CodeStream. I will put welcome to CodeStream. Just small information I kept it here. Okay. So I saved it. So HTML tag start and end, head tag start, and I did not keep anything in under head. Body tag start and end. Okay. Under body tag, so I kept welcome to CodeStream and saved it. Okay. So now, if you want to render it, if you want to see that the code you wrote, some code you wrote in under HTML file, if you want to render it, if you want to execute it or to render it, so open with Google Chrome. Okay. So I am just opening the file with a browser, any browser, not only Google Chrome, guys. You can go and open with Internet Explorer. Look at this. The Internet Explorer is opening. I'm just making okay. You can see that information here. Welcome to CodeStream. So the whatever the information I kept here, so in the under HTML tags, you can see that. So, but this information, whatever it is showing, the representing in the browser, if you go and open that and see that, so it's I want it as a very big thing, like I want it in this font. I want it. So to do that, so you can make it like this. You can keep under, you can keep within the B tag. B tag is nothing but a bold tag. You can know the all the list of tags. What are the HTML list of tags by searching. So what I did is I just changed it. Instead of the normal keeping, I just kept this information within the B tag. So the moment when I keep the within the B tag and look at the day that text got into bold status, right? The text got into bold status. I mean bold. It represented as a bold manner. Okay. So here, if you want to do, or if you want to make it in a center, I want to keep this information instead of a left align. I want to display in the center of the page. I want to display in the center of the page. Then what you can do is you can add one more tag called center. There is a tag called center. So within the center, you can keep it. And now I'm saving the code and I'm rendering here. So now it came into center. So like this, with the tags, we can save information. If you don't write anything, let's say I'm just taking it out and I'm writing here, welcome to Port State. Okay. So look at this, guys. Welcome to Port State. I'm just saving it and let's go and see that. So normally it is coming like, okay, without tags and all, without it. So if you go and inspect that, so if you go and inspect that, so look at this. Did I add any code under this HTML file? Any HTML file? Any HTML tags did I add?
No, sir.
No. But still, after rendering, if you go and see that, the by default HTML tag added, header tag added, body tag added. I haven't done anything. Okay. So by default, browser added those things. Okay. So browser added those things when you keep that information. Okay. So so that way. So if you want to do more things on that, only thing is what you have to do. You have to play with the tags. Welcome to CodeStream. This is what I kept in a center. Okay. So you can if you want to do more things. I want to give the background color. Right now, the background color of the screen is, what is the color, guys? What is the background color of this? What is the background color?
White.
Right. I want to change it, the background color. How to do? So see, simple, guys. So till now, that represent the information is we will use the tag to add more information, more makeup on that. We will have attributes. So body tag will have attributes. If you go and see that attribute, it's not that much complex programming language. It is a simple programming language. You can learn it 1 or 2 days. Okay. So body tag attribute. Let's say. So look at this body tag attribute. You can search it anywhere. The W3 Schools is also one of the best website. I mean the tutorial. So you can go look at this body tag attribute. We want to see what are the attributes we have for the body tag. Yeah, this is the body tag and definition and usage that you know that already. And where you can, this body tag will render Google Chrome and Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari. They are saying Opera, something like that. Okay, so now go and see that attribute. These are the attributes. You can see that these are all the attributes. How to use these attributes, you'll see that. These are all the attributes we have. Title attribute, translate attribute, hidden attribute, ID attribute, lang attribute, style attribute, class attribute, something like that. Okay. And global attribute. These are so let's see that event attribute. Okay. So what this style attribute will give is, if you want to give some style, you can always apply the style attribute, guys. So style attribute, if you go how to add the attribute, guys, here like this style. This is the under the tag, so you can add within the angular bracket. So you can, by giving space, we add that, you can say it is a style attribute. But I don't give any information to style, it won't give any style. Okay, so here you can give many things style. So style, if you want to give, let me show you an example of the style. Okay, so this is the style, guys. You can give the many attributes. Look at this. You got the red actually. Let me. This is the style or the style value. I'm going here. I'm just pasting over here. So what I did is, this is the body tag. For this body tag, I added style attribute. For this style attribute, I added one value saying that background hyphen color equal to red, and saving it, and go and see that already it got applied. Is it applied or not? Got applied. So if you want to change the color, let's say yellow. Okay, change it to yellow. Okay. So this background color only for specific this thing, then take this style attribute, apply to this bold tag, bold tag. So I the same attribute I added. So it added only the background color for only for that particular text. Okay. So like this here, if you see that this thing we can call it as a CSS. CSS. I told you that there is should be we should know the CSS, right? CSS programming. So that is CSS is nothing but a cascading style sheet. Okay. Mm, 1 second. Yeah. Yeah. So like this, you can add attributes. So based on attribute, keep on adding the total web design. You will change into different way. So this is the basic stuff I'm trying to make you understand what is tag and what is attribute. Okay. At what tag will give? It will give the information. Attribute gives the additional information about that particular the information whatever you kept under this one. Okay. So I want to create a table. Table means I want to create a column name, you like a serial number, name, field, something like that, rows and all. So you have a tag called, you have a tag called this one, guys, table tag, table tag. So table tag. So simple, guys. You can easily learn and apply that. Even if you miss that, I just missed the syntax level. Look at this syntax level. I missed it, and I'm going to compile it. Look at this. Am I getting any error? Any problem? No. So you don't see any errors in the HTML because it's completely error free. If you miss the syntax also in Java, it's not like that. Even if you miss the semicolon also, what happens? It gives an error, right? Compilation error. But here you don't see that kind of errors here. So because might be that feature may not work, but you don't see any error. It is completely error free. Okay. So table tag, under table tag, so I'm going to keep there is a table header th, and look at this how I'm going to design th and table header. So uh, table definition, table header. So here the table header. So let me go and show you that table table tag. Okay. Same double click tool will help you. So table. So they made it as a tr, and tr means row, because each table have a row, right? And table header is nothing but a for headings. Like you see that if I render it here, so you see that this is the header. Month and savings are the header. And if you want for headers, you can use the th, and for values you can use the t. For values you can use the td. The same way. So but each thing is a row, right, in the table manner. I'm using tier. So tier, and this is all the work will done by the front end developers, guys, not a back end developers. Front end developer means who does the web designing and designing of the pages and all. But you should know the basic stuff, right, as a Java developer. So I'm just taking some basic stuff here. Okay, tr, and again let me take one more. This is the one row. So under the one row you might have multiple columns. You might have multiple columns. Let's say serial number. The column name is serial number, and here name, and one more thing is phone. Okay, name and phone. These are the three columns, and there is the first row. That is the row one under the table. I'm going to take the another row, and it here. Under here, I will add, instead of the th, these are the headers, right? So I will add td tag, td tag, td, td. This is also td and td. And the information I kept here, the one serial number, the name is, let's say, Manik Kumar, and phone number is this one. This is the phone number. Like this, I will create many rows here. Row 1, row 2, row 3, like this. So let's say row 3 and row 4 also. The first one is Munikumar, and the second one is Inka, and third one is and fourth one is. Yeah. So look at this. I just added the rows to this, and let's go and render that as well. You can see that the representation is like column, row. I mean, these the headers represented in a different manner. The same information, if you don't keep in the HTML tags, though the representation will not look like this. You want to give some border. Okay, so now how they gave the here border. So like look at this, the border they gave that. So border one. So there is an attribute they added. There is a attribute they added for the border. So border in the sense means if you go here, the table tag, there is an attribute called border. What is that? Border. Border equal to. So I will use 1 pixel. I will use 1 pixel, and the border 1 pixel. So look at this, the board came like this, and you want to keep this in a center. Still you can keep. Okay, still you can keep, guys. There is a line, I think. I'm not sure. Center. I added one more attribute. Like this, we can add n number of attributes. We can add n number of attributes, guys. So I added how many attributes per table tag? Two attributes. One is align attribute, another one is border attribute. If you use 5 pixel, look at this. You use 5 pixel, and it gave like border is very thick, very thick. Okay, so like this, only we have to, if you want to design all those things, like so only thing is you have to play with the HTML tag. This is the basic stuff. Now I just prepared one simple HTML file. So I kept that HTML files where I kept in the under the project folder, guys. Did I keep this HTML in under WebINF? No, I didn't keep. I kept in within the project folder outside of the WebINF. Okay, generally we'll keep there only. Now what I did is I'm ready with this folder structure. Okay. Now what I will do is I have to deploy this project structure. I mean a project which I created. But this project have how many resources? Only one resource till now I prepared. This is the common structure you have. But resources is nothing but a files which we create with the programming. Okay. Till now we created only one file, that is one HTML file, right? So now I'm going to take it. I'm going to take this CSTPL. I'm going to take this CSTPL, and let's go here. Where is the project here? Download. I mean the Tomcat server. So this is the Tomcat server. So where you have to keep this project, whatever the project you prepared, so where you can keep. So not in a bin folder, config folder, lib folder. Bin folder will have the all the binary things to start the server, stop the server, and setting class path. Many things are there. And config folder have the all the configuration related stuff. You can do the configuration and all. So even you can see the many things are there. So we'll go and talk about that. Lib folder will keep all libraries like all the jar files. So already we have readily with the predefined libraries. And still if you want to add your own library also, you can go and add it in this library. Okay, but there is a web apps folder is there, right? Here under the web apps folder you have to keep your project. So look at this, these are all the sample project already. Docs project, example project, host manager project, root project. These are all the sample things which already they created and they kept. But along with that, so like this under web apps folder you can deploy a number of applications. We just created one application. That project name is nothing but a CSTPL application. That application we kept, we deployed under web apps folder. Okay, so already they created some of the applications. They kept it. They kept under this same web apps folder, guys. Okay, so now, how to start the server? How to start the server? You guys know that how to start the server? So there is a start top dot. Sorry, yeah, there is a startup.bat file. So this is the server start. Okay, so you got some error. So what is that error, guys? Look at this. Clearly look at this. What is that error? Hmm? What is that error? Create Zax parser exception. Okay. So what the server is doing? Look at this line. What is that line? When you start the server, what the server is doing there? What is about that line? Read the line carefully. Deploying web application directory. What is the directory?
C
CSTPL.
users.
So that means server is deploying that. Whenever you start, you already placed that project, right? Server is trying to deploying that into the server with the directory. What is the directory? CSTPL. The moment when it is doing another step called like this. So under web app CSTPL, under WebINF, it is trying to read it. So that means server is trying to do something with the web.xml when you deploy that. Are you getting me? So server is trying to read that. Server is trying to read the, which one? It is trying to read the web.xml when we start, when we deploy that. So the moment when it's starting doing that, when it's trying to do that, so problem is it is telling that premature end of file. It is trying to read something, but that unfortunately the file doesn't have anything. That is what it is saying. Nothing is there. And line number 1, column number 1, premature end of file. So it got exception. So the basic stuff is at least you should have one tag file. So like how we will have HTML tags, in the same tags you can keep that kind of tags we can keep in the XML file also. We'll discuss more on that. Web app starts, web app end. So this is the tag I kept. Okay. Now I'm stopping the server. Control C, automatically server got stopped. Okay. Now let me go and start again. Let me go and start again. So what I added, guys, just I added simple web app tag start, web app end. I did not add anything under this. I just added the simple syntax. Okay. Now I'm going to start it. Look at this, guys. Are you getting exception now? No. Look at this. So how many applications is it trying to deploy? The first one is trying to deploying web application directory CSTPL. After that, did you get any exception? No. And if you see that it is trying to deploying the application called CSTPL like this. After that, docs project. After that, example. After that, host manager. After that, root. Are you getting me? So we have the list of projects 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 projects is deployed. You can place a number of projects, but our project is CSTPL. If you go and see other projects also, docs project, they created n number of, but our project we have only one HTML file, simple. And so they kept many HTML files, but you can see a WebNF folder. Can you see a WebNF folder?
Yes,
Under
sir.
WebNF, there is a web.xml. Look at this web.xml. There is a tag called web app. Started a web app. But they added many other things. That's all our requirement based on thing we will add it. So look at this. Any application, if you go on examples also, we have a WebNF folder. But along with that, you have another thing. You don't worry about it. WebNF folder. Under classes is there, lib is there, web.xml. Along with that, we have another stuff also there. Don't think about it. Okay, if you look at that web like this, every project will have, you should have WebNF folder. Under that, you should have web.xml. Okay, so under WebNF, along with the web.xml classes folder, lib folders also, we will have that. Okay, guys. Now, so now we deployed. That means successfully. Now, server is running in my mission only. The server is already started. My application already deployed. Now I have to access that application, that resource from the browser. I have to access from the browser. So whenever you install the server, the server is installed in some mission. So what is the IP address of that mission? What is the IP address of that mission? You should know to access any web application after deploying, you should know some information. What is that? IP address of that server deployed. What is the IP address, guys? How to know IP address? Go to that server where you installed, and you can know by using this command also. That is ipconfig. So you can see that this one. Okay, so this is IP address. So if the server is in the same system, I mean, if you are trying to access the same system, you can use localhost also instead of IP address. If the server is in some other system, not in the client system, suppose you are trying to access from your system, the server is also in the same system, then you can always use instead of IP address, localhost. And then the server, whatever the server you deployed, the application you deployed in some server, right? That whatever the server, that server port number you need, the server port number you need it. So how do you know that port number? Go to the Tomcat config folder. While installing, you can know, or else you can go and server.xml. You can see that server.xml under the config folder. So you can see the port number 8005. The port number is shutdown port number, not that. This is the port number, guys. What is the port number, guys? Protocol 8080 port number. So then you know that the port number. Okay. So you know the IP address of the server, the Tomcat server, where it got
Yes.
installed, and you know already port number. These are the two things. And third one is you should know project name. What is the project name, guys? What is the project name? CST Priya. And you should know the resource, which resource you want to access. Resource is nothing but HTML files, .class files. These are all the things we can call it as a resource under the project. Resource name, name or URL. You should know. You should specify name or URL. Okay. So what is the resource name here? home.html. So these are the things. Okay. Till now you will have everything for every in the project. If you are trying to access the same project, till these 3 points always use the same, but always it will get changed, resource or URL. If you want to access home.xml, you can access. Otherwise, if you want to access some other resource, you will. But for now, why I use a name and resources, but URL concept we will come and we will discuss when we are talking about servlet and mapping and all. So there you will easily understand it. And the home.xml. Okay. Now I am going to use the call this resource by using one protocol. Yesterday I talked about it. The server and client both knows one protocol. What is that protocol, guys?
HTTP.
Right. So that is HTTP. So HTTP / syntax I'm talking. IP address. So IP address I'm going to use localhost because my server is in my same system. What is the port number? Port number and slash and the project name. What is that? CSTPL / home.html. So look at this. I just prepared the total the link URL. I'm just copying that. Okay, and I'm going to browser, any one of the browser. I'm just closing all this. Just won't get confused. Okay, I'm just putting this URL, whatever the prepared URL, and I'm going to access it. Look at that. Look at that. We got that right. We got the response. Okay, but where this code and respect to display, whatever you display, you see where this code is deployed in the browser. It is there. The code was deployed in where, guys? Server. This output came from server. Again, I'm going to show you. Let me go to the network calls here, debugger tool, and clicking on this and look at this. This is the request. When look at this. This is the requested method is get and request headers. If you see that these are all the request headers, and this is the response. This code is where this code is there. Is it not in? It's not in your your browser. It is in server. From the server gave the response. That response is rendered by the, because HTML files will be rendered, can render by the browser. That is how we are trying to access that resource. This is how. Okay, are you getting me? Even that is also same. Codestream.in, I just added it, right? So we are getting. Let me show you here the same way. I'm just codestream.in. I'm just trying to access. And if you see that many things are rendered on codestream.in, preview response. Response, as a response, what we get a lot of HTML code which we deployed in the server, not in my mission. Even if you try to access, you will get the same response, right? That means what? The response is coming from server. So that is the basic way of accessing the web application, guys. Just I tried to explain the structure of the application and how to access it. Okay. So far, any doubts, guys?
No, sir.
So we just try to understand the structure of the web application, but not as started the servlet. We'll start the servlet tomorrow. Okay. Any doubts so far?
No, sir.